Hey, hey, my beautiful tribe. Welcome to Lunchtime Flow with Alyshea. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far, and congratulations on making it to your mat midday to take a little bit of a break from all the craziness and recenter yourself. So today we're going to focus on stretching into the back, just in case you've been sitting at a desk and that type of thing. We're also going to open up into the hips a little bit. So we'll start in a seated position. Go ahead and set your mat up if you haven't already. Rooting down into the sits bones. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall, lengthening through the spine all the way from the tailbone through the crown of the head up toward the ceiling, reaching up. Release the shoulder blades down the back. Gently closing the eyes. Let's begin to inhale and exhale through the nose. Just take a moment here to check in with yourself today. If you'd like to set an intention for our practice, go ahead and do that now. Allowing the eyes to gently flutter open. All right. From here, we're going to warm up the spine a little bit by bringing the chest forward and then rounding it to the back. So nice big circles with the upper body. And it's okay if your sits bones come up off the mat a little bit here. The most important part in this movement is really releasing, pressing that chest forward and then rounding it back. So it's not necessarily this circling motion, right? Because we can keep our chest, our torso nice and straight and do this. That's not what we're going for. We want to get that movement in the spine. Start waking up all those muscles in the back, in the chest, in the stomach. Reverse the other direction. Let's add our breath in now. So inhale forward and exhale back. Good. One more time around. Awesome. And then we'll come back to center. Let's make our way over into tabletop position. Bringing the wrists underneath of the shoulders, knees underneath of the hips, fingers spread nice and wide on the mat. Bring the navel in toward the spine, neutral neck. And let's take some cat-cows here. Inhaling into cow, lifting the hips, looking up. And then exhale, tuck the pelvis under, lift the ribs as high as you can to the ceiling. Top of the head drops down toward the mat. And again, moving with your own breath here at your own pace. Couple more rounds of cat-cow. If there's one thing that you do throughout your day, if you're one of those people that works at a desk, let it be cat-cow. All right, and we'll come back to center. Let's go ahead and tuck the toes, sending our hips up toward the ceiling for downward facing dog. Fingers are still spread nice and wide on the mat. Allow the top of the head to come down towards the mat, looking at the top of the thighs with the belly button here, keeping the core engaged. Find some movement if you need to create space in the back of the legs. Okay, so I've already taught a class this morning, so for me it's a little bit easier to come right into the downward dog, but you may need to still open up a little bit, right? And that's okay. It's needed. So listen to the body here, give it what it's asking for. The most important part in our downward facing dog is not whether or not your heels come all the way down onto the mat. We're actually just going for extension in the spine here. So even if you take a slight micro bend in the knees, or you have to lift the heels just a little bit, in order to really get that space in between each and every vertebrae, then you're accomplishing the goal of downward dog. Good. Go ahead and look between the hands. We're going to step the right foot forward. Drop the back knee down. Lift the chest. Release the top of the back foot down onto the mat. Bring the chest up. Interlace the fingers. Bring them to the top of the right thigh. Coming down into our low lunge here. Opening up into the front of the left hip. You can take a little mini back bend here if you want. Totally optional. Good. Coming back into our lunge. Release the left hand down. Right underneath the shoulder, we're going to sweep the right arm up. Just find a little twist here. Maybe take in your head and turn your gaze up toward the hand. Perfect. And then release that hand back down towards the mat. We're going to shift the hips back, straightening into the front leg, and find yourself in your half or full split if it's in your practice. So I'm just going to stick with my half split right now. But if you feel comfortable going into a full split, go ahead. All right, and then we'll shift it forward again. Tuck those left toes, pick up the back leg, step the right foot back into plank. Let's take a vinyasa here. So we'll shift forward on the toes and then lower down, keeping the elbows in nice and tight. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, let's take a breath here together. Inhale and exhale. Stepping that left foot forward this time. Drop the back knee and release the top of the right foot. Lifting with the chest, interlace the fingers, bring them to the thigh. Come down nice and deep into that low lunge. Try to keep the front knee stacked over the ankle though, right? So we don't want the front knee to start going past the ankle. Again, optional little back bend here. Beautiful. Bringing the hands back to the mat. Let's shift the hips back, straighten into the front leg, flex that foot, keep it nice and active. Half or full split. Use the breath to relax into the posture. Find that release with the muscles. Allow them to just let go and sink into the stretch. Good, lifting the chest, coming forward again. Let's go ahead and tuck those right toes, lift the back leg, stepping the left foot back, and take your vinyasa. Good, kneading back in downward dog. Let's shake the head out here. All right. Look between the hands again. This time we're going to step the right foot forward towards the left hand. Drop the knee and square the hips. So we're going to prepare right here for pigeon pose. So the trick with pigeon pose, or not the trick, the proper alignment rather, is that we want to make sure that our hips stay even. So if you catch yourself doing this, coming over onto the seat, then the hips aren't even. So bring it back nice and centered. If you want to place a block underneath of the hip for some support, that's an option. And if it's still a little too much, you can take pigeon pose on your back. So we'll come down into this a little bit. Let's make sure that we're not on top of the shin, right? Because that's going to put some pressure on the knee. So we want to have the foot out just a little bit here, not tucked under. Nice deep breaths, releasing into pigeon pose. If this is still kind of uncomfortable or awkward for you, you can always head over to the video basics page in the video library, and there's a video in there on pigeon pose and all the different variations and modifications that you can take with this posture. So one more breath here. And then we'll start to bring the chest back up, hands coming back to the mat. Tuck the left toes, lift that back leg, right foot comes back. Let's take a vinyasa. Inhaling for upward dog and exhaling for downward dog. All right, left foot steps forward, bring it toward that right hand, drop the left knee by the left hand, square the hips. Coming down nice and evenly on the hips here. Making your way down. Again, use any props that you may need to make this a little bit more comfortable. As with every other yoga pose, if you're feeling any pain, please back out of it. That is your body's way of asking you not to do that, right? So in yoga, we don't push through any kind of pain. We back out of it. Discomfort is good. That's what we're going for. A little bit of discomfort, not pain though. Good, let's take one more breath here. Start to lift the chest back up, bringing the hands back to the mat. And we're just going to allow ourselves to come over onto that left hip now, swinging that right leg around. All right. Bringing the soles of the feet together, we'll prepare for bound angle. No need to pull the feet in as close as you can get them, or you can leave them out a little bit. Also, try to avoid this move, pulling up, right? It's not good on the ankle, so we'll just take the hands to the feet. Give yourself a little massage. Show yourself some love today. Inhale, lengthen in the spine, sitting up nice and tall. And then as we exhale, we'll hinge forward, keeping the spine extended. You can keep the hands on the feet and gently press the elbows into the knees, or if you want to release the forearms down onto the mat in front of you, that's another option, but try to keep the spine extended instead of rounding forward. We want to reach forward with the chest. Right, so we get plenty of that rounding stuff happening while we're sitting at our desks or in our cars. Not enough extension. All right, let's bring it back up. We'll pick the knees up, grabbing onto the backs of the thighs. Slowly roll yourself all the way down onto your mat, and then bring the knees into the chest and give them a nice squeeze. Maybe find a little rock side to side here. Good. And then from here, bring the arms out at your sides, palms facing up. We're going to cross the right leg across the left, and then allow the knees to fall over to the left, turning and looking out over that right arm. So just getting a nice little twist here in the lower back. Relaxing into the posture, and letting gravity do the work for you here. Bringing your awareness back to the breath. Good. Let's gently bring the knees back up to center. Reset the hips. Switch legs, left on top of right, and then allow the knees to fall over to the right this time, turning and looking out over that left arm. All right, one more breath. And then bringing the knees back to center, into the chest one more time. And then extending the legs out onto the mat. Allow the feet to gently fall out to the sides. Palms stay face up, arms out at your side, closing the eyes, coming down into your Shavasana. So from here, with the eyes closed, return the breath back to normal. Begin to soften the forehead. Relax the jaw. Unclench the teeth. And release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Each and every breath you take allows you to sink deeper and deeper into your relaxation, feeling fully supported by the ground beneath you. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was my honor and privilege to guide you through your practice. Namaste.